Yes, boys, what is good, YouTube and all that? We are here with the normal Sunday breakdown video, and this one's going to be quite interesting because we had a very fun-filled pack of news last week. So not a lot of trades were taken, i.e. different pairs. Gold was obviously the highlight. A fair amount of trades were taken on gold. I actually dabbled in my first US 30 trade, and we'll go over that and we'll have a look. It was a very up and down week. We still ended the week profitable. I still ended the week profitable. The group ended the week profitable because obviously there's not just me in there trading, there is two other traders. So, you know, if one fails, then hopefully the other two, if they're not having a bad week, can pick up the slack, which is not what happened this week, but we all had a good run and we ended the week on quite a good pip count. But I'll go through the trades and stuff from the group, and you can look over the weekly pip count. You can look over the, trade entries when we sent them out, and you can. Again, this is kind of transparency to see that we aren't just bullshitting, and that when I send a trade out, it is actually the area and at the time, and when we ended up closing. My last gold trade did make up for the one previous to that, which was just one of them. At the end of the day, was looking at the imbalance being filled on the hourly, and it looked like it had been filled on the hourly and was starting to make its way to the upside, but then just completely collapsed. Usual Adam kind of explanation of it tapped our stop loss and then immediately shot up, so we were liquidity in that sort of instance, but it is what it is. We didn't become liquidity the day after when we smacked on a sell and took it for 320 pips, which was quite good, which ended the week on a nice one. But yeah, we'll hop over to charts, we'll have a look. I've got my coffee, it's very harsh for some reason, so that's always nice. So we'll just go over and we'll have a look at what we could potentially dabble in next week. This right here was Euro USD. This is what I was actually looking for based off of NFP. I was looking for a little tap into this hour order block over here, and then a nice big rejection to the downside. 7 pips, so that's 8 pips away from it being tapped in. One of them just being a little bit too cautious. It was looking to be a sort of negative for the DXY. That was what the consensus was based off the previous, and it ended up actually coming out better for the USD. So USD actually went up, so meant that the USD pairs have gone down. But I'd had all these different sell areas. Look, 2 different scenarios. Again, tap into here to the downside, or if we were looking to be bullish on USD pairs, then a tap into this order block, fair value gap, and then to the upside. But neither one played out. They weren't sent out anyway. They were just, you can see my dotted lines here for my alarms. So they were all just kind of waiting. But still, we're still in this trading range of GU. There's not real indication on where we are going. Again, we can kind of probably flip this now. And say that this area now for us is a potential sell entry for the downside, potentially to fill this area here. So that can be something that we can be looking at on maybe Monday, Tuesday. I'm very tempted to just stop trading Mondays because I did it last Monday, traded Monday, and it was just very slow, boring again. So again, I think I feel like Mondays can just be off the list. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays is just a better and more volume-induced days of the week. So that could be something that we could be looking at on next week. Something along these lines. Obviously, looking at it on the 4 hour, obviously you're not going to be having this massive stop loss here. We would be going down to the lower time frames, but that is definitely off the cards. The buy side is definitely off the cards. I feel like this is, if we can break here, if we can break 125, then surefire we are heading further down to the downside. Maybe 121 500s, that sort of area. Revisiting these lows, revisiting these imbalances here. So I'm definitely looking for shorts on GU. Same sort of basis with EU. You know, we can. It might be a case that we do actually tap into. I don't know why that's not playing up. We do actually tap into this order block again, and then make our way to the downside. You know, again to start, I would see at least maybe down to 106, 105, 500, something along those lines. That would be something that I'd be potentially looking at. But again, you know, we've got this big imbalance here that was produced off of the back of NFP. GBP AUD. Well, I closed this out in profit because we were dealing with this consolidation, and this ended up actually hitting TP1, TP2 if we'd held, but I don't like holding through consolidation, and it was very, very close to entry anyway. And I think this was around Wednesday when interest rate was coming out for the USD. Obviously, even regardless of it having GBP and AUD, USD news still can make a difference to other pairs that don't have USD in them. So that was something that we were in but closed. Obviously, it would have hit TP1, TP2. It is what it is. Nothing lost, nothing gained. AUD, USD, same sort of principle. I was looking for a tap into here, which never happens. You know, again, it's just very, very choppy price action, choppy market structure. You know, even on this, there wouldn't have been anything that I would have, you know, deemed as being worthy to take off of this. Do you know what I mean? There's no imbalances unless they're on the lower time frame, which I don't think. I mean, this, yeah, you could say is an order block area, but yeah, it was just I wasn't prepared to take something off the back of news unless I was already in it, which was what we were. We were actually in gold, so gold was fine. Stops were at break even. We got in the day before, the evening before, and we rode it down. GBP JPY, no trades taken on there that last week, I don't think. USD JPY, I had a buy set up that I was looking for, but again, it was round news, so I wasn't prepared to take it. Euro JPY, we didn't have anything off of there, but you can see we are in a nice kind of decline at the moment. But gold was the baby. Yeah, as you can see, this was our area of entry. Tapped us in. I'll show you the area on Telegram, and then we had consolidation obviously over Friday, which was just kind of tapping into this imbalance here, which is on the lower time frames. But it was just tapping in, and then as soon as news came out, boom, we just plummeted to the downside. Yeah, so this is my section here, Adam's trades. This trade was sent out, as you can see, 2062 to 2065 is the area of entry. So it's kind of this type of range. We did go a little bit past, but only by a few pips. That was the area that I was looking to sell, and this was purely and solely based off of this 2 daily highs, 1, 2, and then we tested this daily high over here, which I think, if I remember correctly, look, weekly high taken, and I kind of, for me, it's one of those. This area here seemed way too far away for gold to be pushing. This actually was the push off of nothing as well. This was just US Open that we went from 2030. So obviously the weekly highs I was targeting anyway. So the weekly high 1 and weekly high 2. But if we'd put our stop loss a little bit lower and hadn't got tapped out, then all of those take profits would have been hit, because we ended up going to 2062, which was the overall last take profit. So if we'd not got tapped out, we would have hit the overall take profit of 2062. And then that was my area that I was looking to sell. So it would have been a good run up and a good run down. But again, held this through news, but because our entry were up here, stops to break even were already done the night before, so we knew it was risk-free, and we knew that we could just hold, and whatever happened, happened. And yeah, consolidation all day, pretty much Friday until news came out, and then boom, we had the drop. We were targeting this liquidity area here, so previous daily lows all resting down here, and that's where it went to. But we've still closed above 2030. 2030 has been acting like a good area of support for the last 1 to 3 days after breaking above on Monday. So, we've got a fair few rejections to the downside. So, Monday, are we just going to look to come back in and fill this imbalanced area? Maybe the 50% of this candle. So, potentially we could look and see where has kind of played an area of resistance in the past, which might be around this sort of area here. Has been an area of resistance, so maybe like the 50% of this candle could be our entry. Stops just above here, but again, it might be a case that we've tapped into 2030 and boom, we're going to go up a little bit higher. Up to 2076 was my last area of interest when it came to the sell side, but we will see. I'm backing it off of yields. Yields would potentially have to, we've broken the highs here. So we've broken these highs here in the hourly. So I'd be looking for, we can do a bit of a fib retracement. I don't know why my things aren't just clicking straight away. Do a bit of a fib retracement, look. So back into this sort of area here again, tap and then explode off. We have got Fed's Powell speaking, I think, on Wednesday. Again, a few news related stuff coming up this week for DXY, but that was my kind of like, look, this is why I think DXY is going to do it. It's either going to rock it from here, tap into here, and then rock it, or we're just going to have a bit of a fill of this gap and then plummet. But look, we've got an hour kind of order block over here that's been tapped into twice. Second time we just rocketed. That's obviously off the back of NFP. And, potentially looking to, because we have closed above all of these highs, these previous highs here. So we could be looking to now fill in this imbalance here. So we could be filling in this imbalance here and then potentially making another push to the upside. I don't think we're going to be pushing any further to the downside. I think push into this and we could be heading towards this area here. So those sort of areas. I'm doing this on my smaller screen, so I've got the full length to go by. But push up into this area here could potentially be the move that the DXY is making. NZD CADs. Did I send a setup out on that? I think I did, but we closed it in a little bit of profit because it was just, again, very, very choppy stuff. And then US 30. This was my US 30 trades, and this was a little bit on a whim, but just kind of looking at the overall, right, well, this is realistically, by the looks of things on this chart anyway, the highest we've been. And I started to see the candlesticks on the hourly time frame just looking like they were losing momentum. So we were just kind of up here, rejecting up and down, because I see a lot of traders of US 30 using the 1 minute. We were just dancing about a lot in here. And then as soon as we were failing to break these highs, coming back in, this is where I sent the sellout. We did have one more push into this drawdown region again, and then before we finally actually dropped. But yeah, we hit TP. I think there was two. There was TP1. Let me just check. USD, TP1, 38400s, 38300s. So yeah, 38300 was there, 38400 was there. US 30, I don't really know the whole pip count. I did have to confer with my other trader that does trade it an awful lot. But yeah, I didn't realize how big, you know, just from 300 to 400 is like not 10 pips, it's like 100 pips or something. So I didn't realize the pip count was that big. But yeah, that was my kind of just US 30 have a go type setup. I said to people that were in the group, only the big accounts take it, because you know this on lower accounts can completely go and blow it. So it's not something that I suggest people get into with very small accounts. But yeah, Connor's trades he sent out. He's a JPY trader. This is what I've noticed. So he likes the JPY pairs, trades CAD JPY quite a lot. AUD JPY was his only loss, and then GBP JPY, he closed it a little bit too early because he thought news was coming out at 1, but it was actually 1:30, and if he'd actually held that trade, it would have hit TP1 and TP2. But it is what it is. He closed it in 2 pips profit. But overall, his trades for the week ended on 102 pips. Calvin the chatter. These were his trades: S&P, Nasdaq, US 30, S&P again, Nasdaq, gold, and Nasdaq. He likes his Nasdaq. He likes his S&P 500, US 30. So he had a good week. 409 pips closed for the week. And then for myself, if it weren't for that gold bullshit and gold on Monday, 343 pips closed for me on my trades. But as you can see, only one pair traded, GA. GA was the only pair that I sent a position out on, and even that, 33 pips, it was just a bit bland this week. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. It was my anniversary last night, so yeah, was out having a few drinks and some food. But yeah, you know, this is the overall pip count for the week, 854. But like, I'll just reiterate this because I still get the people messaging me going, how come you have said it's 340 pips made, but I'm down for the week? Now, there's multiple different reasons behind this. This is based on my manual stuff myself, as in how I manage my account. Okay, so when I enter, when I either get stopped out, when I take profit, you know, how long I leave the trade, if I leave it for the whole duration of the trade or whatever. So these pip counts, when I'm doing them, if I sell a sell area of 62 and 65, I will actually take the first one, which will be the 62 entry. Regardless if it pushes up into 65 and then drops, I will always take the first price, because realistically that is when people are going to, you know, initially jump in. Nobody's got the patience to wait and see how price is fluctuating within that area to then make their decision. They will normally see a signal come through, boom, jump straight in, and so that is why I take that burst entry. So that is why sometimes, even though that 110 pips stop loss there isn't actually what my stop loss was, I actually waited until the final area to then take my sell or buy, or whatever, whichever one it was. So that 110 pips was probably actually only about 80. Okay, same with this 130. Depending on how many people got in, at what time, you know, that will differ. But, so, when you guys, if you are watching this video and you are in the group, if you guys are getting in late, if you are not holding through the TPs, if you are over leveraging, or whatever it might be, that will be the reason why you end the week at a loss, okay? So, you need to, I explained it to some guy before, and this is why he was saying, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. I said, right, the reason why that is the case is because if you are risking 1%, you know, if you're on your funded accounts and you're looking at my trades and go, right, I'm prepared to risk 1%, You need to take that 1% and you need to split it into 3. Okay, that is not taking your 1% and multiplying it by 3, because then you are losing 3%, or you are risking 3%. Do you know what I mean? Because you are taking that 1%, which is equivalent to a lot size. So that will give you a lot size of maybe you know 0.2 or 0.3, right? And then you are splitting that into 3. So the risk is still staying the same as 1%. But if you are taking that 0.2 and going, right, well, he sent 3 positions out, so I need to put that 0.2 3 times, that has now bumped it up. Do you know what I mean? So if you understand that concept, you take your 1% and you split it into 3, you are still only risking 1%, because you've already got that max lot size that it's given you, that you are now splitting into 3. Okay, so if you are doing that every single trade, then there should be no reason why you are down for the week. Also, a lot of people forget that they take their own trades. Do you know what I mean? Again, if you are taking your own trades and then by the end of the week everybody else is up but you are down, then please factor in that the losses also may be because of you taking your own setups. If you have taken your own setups and you have not been profitable, then you've just added to your losses. Okay? So, yeah, it's one of them at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how many times you explain it, and this is why I said, you know, when I did the pros and cons of a Telegram group, you know, this is where it's a little bit contradictory, because, you know, I can say the group is up by this much, but then there might be 100 people that aren't up by this much because they might not have held to the last TP. I mean, look, just so you can see, this guy, you know, he didn't hold till 2030. He held till 2032, but he still did a good, you know, 2065 to 2032 is a good drop on gold. Okay, 2062, 2062. So you got in, the TP1 was I think 2055, but he obviously didn't take out then. 2044, 2043, 2032. So his, you know, his pip count might not be the same as mine, because I had mine at 2055, 2045, 2030. Do you know what I mean? Who else? Again, this guy, his pip count is going to be different because he didn't hold till 2030. He cut out early. This guy took buys. Look. Guys, when it comes to people's individual setups, 9 times out of 10, they are very, very small. They're holding them for about not even 10 pips. You know, that's just over 10 pips right there. It's about 11 pips. These are guys, and I actually I actually stopped the guys from talking and chatting in the group on Friday, because, look, it gets to the point where you see that addiction and that crack fiend type mentality happening in the markets, and as soon as I see that sort of stuff happening, I'll shut it down straight away, because this is just people chasing for more and more and more and more. And this is where I'm saying, you know, we are now no longer in a generation that is just happy with what they've done. I didn't trade at all after that gold trade closed down. I could have sat there and gone, cool, right, well, we've come down to resistance again, support again. You know, I'm looking for this low to be swept, which was Tuesday's low, and then I'm going in for buys for whatever. That was near enough, 100 pip move to the upside. What's the point? Do you know what I mean? By the time that trade closed out on Friday, 2 o'clock, that's actually 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 o'clock my time. 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Why do I want to sit for another 20, 30 minutes looking at the chart and then potentially, you know, having to, right, okay, is this where we're going? You know, blah, blah, blah. Let's drop down to the lower time frame. What am I watching? You know, this is just news. Do you know what I mean? All I would have been sat through is this up and down. Okay, I could have gone, right, well, there we go. We've left this area with a bit of force. Mark out this imbalance here on the minute time frame, and then it just come back down and do all of this shit, and then go up, and then kind of come back down, and then go like you're just sitting through just rubbish for the sake of just trying to get some more money. And this is where I'm saying to you, just like guys that especially in the group, you know, it takes a certain type of person to just be happy. You've done, you end the week, and be complacent with it. I know when we're talking about life in general and actually, you know, upscaling and becoming a better man, you know, being complacent isn't the best thing. But this, the FX market, being complacent, i.e. just being happy with what you've done for the week, you've made your percentage gain. And like I said, this is coming from past experience. Having yourself, right, okay, I want to make 5% this week, or 4% this week, or 3%. When you hit that 3%, why can't you just be done? Why can't you just sit there and go, I've made my 3% and I'm done for the week? Because that is realistically what you want to get to if you know, do this for 10, 20 years. You won't want to be in this every single day. You will not want to be sitting here looking at the charts, figuring out the next move, looking at sessions, all that sort of stuff. You will be literally looking for 1 or 2 setups a month, making your percentage gain for the month, and then being done. Do you know what I mean? Because this is stressful. This is, you know, emotional, highly annoying sometimes, frustrating at sometimes, because trust me, I'm dealing with nearly 300 guys like this, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Everyone's ecstatic when there's wins. As soon as there's a loss, oh, everyone's panties are filled. Oh, there's a win, oh, everyone's ecstatic. Oh, there's a loss, everyone's panties are filled. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is why I'm saying these guys, and I said this and I was brutally honest because you have to be. I'd say about 85% of those guys in that group will not last. And that is purely and solely because they're all fresh, they're all new, and guess what? Everything that I said in my funded account pros and cons video, they have done. You know, they are fresh into the markets. First thing they do, buy a funded account, get fucking, you know, big lot sizes on there. And when you are first coming into this, seeing £3 drawdown and seeing 300 or 3 grand drawdown takes quite a bit of difference when it comes to the old emotional factor. If you're in £3 drawdown, you're not really, it doesn't actually affect you because you know how easy it is to go and find £3. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's just, you could find £1 on the floor. You've made £1 of that back of your £3. But when it's 300 and it's 3 grand, oh my God. It's like the fucking waterworks come on. You know, I'd love to see some of these guys' rooms. There's probably holes in walls and stuff like that when they've taken these types of losses. But this is where I'm saying, you're fresh into the markets and the first thing you are dealing with is 3 to 4 figure drawdown, you know, in your first month. What I'm saying is when you come into this £3, £4 losses and stuff like that, you can handle those so much better. And this is where you need to build up that kind of, you know, thing over a period of time. You just need to build that up over a period of time. Once you start and this is obviously, when I'm talking about drawdown and losses, obviously those are going to be wins as well. So the more you are scaling that account up, you've been dealing with those losses. So when you get to you know, 1 lot or something like that, you're not really, it doesn't affect you as much because you've gone through the process of going from small to bigger to bigger to bigger profits and losses. Okay? And then when you get to the point that you've got 200k and you're into 3 grand drawdown, you sit there and go, well, it's no different to being 30 quid drawdown. It's no different to being in 300 quid drawdown. Do you know what I mean? But everyone's just jumping into this thinking, right, the mentality is they're jumping into this thinking, I'm going to make 3 grand. Not thinking that I'm going to lose 3 grand or 4 grand. Do you know what I mean? They're initially just thinking about the profits. And look, I get it because it's stuff that is promoted. But if you look at my social media or my Instagram, I'm very, very open about the losses. I even post the losses. It happens. It does happen. But if you are jumping into this with those kind of 4, when I say 3, 4, you know, I'm talking about £100 to £1,000, 3, 4 figure drawdowns. It's tough. It is very, very tough. So, you know, just think about it. But not a lot of people will. But anyway, that was the weekly breakdown. When it comes to overall look out at the market for the rest of the week, look, gold at the moment it's one or two things here. We are heavily rejecting this 2030, okay? Now, in order for us to be going short to the downside, we need to break 2030. We need to close below 2030. We need to retest 2030. We need to then drop. But at the moment, we're happily staying above 2030. So in my eyes, we're still with the potential of going to the upside. We still could potentially go to the upside. You know, and looking at yields, yes, we had this bullish daily candle on Friday. So maybe we have a little bit of a push back down, you know, to there. Or we continue. You know, the open of this on Monday could just push a little bit further up. We are very, very close to Friday's high. So Friday's high could get swept, then a push back down, and then a push up. You know, again, this is why I'm probably, and I say, yeah, I am going to not trade Monday. I'm actually going to sit on my hands this Monday. Just let Monday open happen, and then see what else comes about. GU, look, nice, very, very good bearish daily candle, taking out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is where I feel like, you know, GBP could potentially be making its move to the downside. But look, we've got previous daily bearish candle here, and all we did was come back up. Previous daily candle bearish here, price came back up. So, you know, all of this, there's a lot of, it's just consolidation at the moment for GU especially. You know, we didn't close below this daily low here. So, you know, realistically, yes, I feel like this low here will get taken probably Monday. So this area will probably get swept, and then potentially a tap back in. So we could see another kind of close above 26, you know, and something along the lines of that. You know, a candle pushing back into there, and then potentially rolling over. Same sort of principle. It's not really been, look, if you look at the last 2 weeks from weekly breakdown videos that I've done, I mean, look, there's not a lot of, you know, this is a move. This here is not a move. This is just consolidation. Okay, so this is why these breakdowns have been pretty bleak. GA, same sort of basis. AU, yeah, I feel like AU could potentially still make a move further down, and that is where I'm going to be looking for definitely taking a nice long position. With that being said, GA, we would then be looking for potentially rolling over to the downside. So GA pushing down. Look, we've had this long progression up here, consolidation for the past 2 weeks, and then, you know, we're failing to close above these previous candle wicks. So again, roll over to the downside, potentially if we see Monday push into here. And then, you know, what news have we got? Balance of trade, interest rate interest rate could be the one on the 6th. So interest rate could give us the push for AU to the upside. GA shorts. So that's one thing that we can be looking out for. GBP JPY. I mean, we're back into 187,500s, which has kind of played a level of resistance and support for a good period of the month, January. So potentially we could see a rollover happen back down into sort of 182 potentially. That would be a good area for looking. So that's GJ. Euro JPY, same sort of principle. You know, we're back into the support and resistance now of 160. But we did feel this area of imbalance over here on the daily on Thursday. Euro, we've got balance of trade. I still feel like EU's got this area down here to be tested. So again, have to see how Monday opens up. USD JPY, very nice bullish daily candle, taking out pretty much all of these daily candles here, off of the imbalance on this daily area here. As you can see, look, that area got filled nicely to the T. So I think USD JPY definitely pushing into potentially, I'd say 150 if we can break 150, because 150 seems to be the area that is supported and resisted price in the past. But that is pretty much it. You know, definitely taking into account DXY is closed above here and is going to potentially look to push into this area. So that means a lot of sell-off momentum to the downside for USD pairs. Yeah, with that being said, guys, that is the weekly breakdown, weekly forecast. I'm going to try and come up with some ideas. If you do watch this today, drop some idea comments in the section down below, so that it gives me something to potentially talk about in the next up and coming videos. Maybe if it's a few topics, I can throw it all into one. I know I saw one comment that was about how to spend your profits that you make in trading. So I might talk about that, what I've personally done and what I think everybody should do. I did kind of go over it in the last video, in the funded account one. What I think you should be using funded account profits for, and even profits that you make in trading, what you should be doing with it. But I'll go further into depth if that's something that you guys want to talk about. And yeah, if there's any other subjects that you want talking about, we can go over that as well. But yeah, drop this video a thumbs up, guys. Subscribe, turn the bell notification on so you know when I'm uploading a video, and I will speak to you in the next one.